Have you ever felt underestimated? Like whatever you do, it's always wrong in the eyes of certain people? They speak cynically, dismiss your ideas, and sometimes even make you doubt yourself. Well, if you're experiencing something like that, you absolutely have to watch this video until the end. Have you ever felt like, why does this person always underestimate me? Everything I do seems wrong. Your ideas are mocked, your achievements are dismissed, and sometimes even when you speak the truth, you're still ridiculed. So, let's break down together why some people have this habit. 1. Because they are actually insecure, bro. Seriously. Many people who underestimate others do so because they're not confident in themselves. You know, truly comfortable people won't bother trying to bring others down. But if someone feels threatened, inferior, or afraid their competitor will be superior, they'll attack first to appear taller. They need to make you look small. Here's an example. You give a good idea at work, and they chime in, "Ah, that's so common, nothing special." Yet deep down they're thinking, wow, this person's idea is really good. I can't let them seem smarter than me. Funny, right? But that's how insecure people think. 2. Some people are just naturally arrogant. They love feeling superior. Now, this is usually the type of person with a high ego. They feel the world should revolve around them. So when someone else progresses, grows, or starts to shine, it's seen as a threat. Instead of growing together, they choose to belittle you so they can still look the most impressive. Usually their remarks are like, "Yeah, I've done that before." "Ah, that's all? You think that's cool?" You can see this isn't constructive criticism, but a subtle jab intended to bring you down, not help you. 3. It could also be due to habit. Some people are simply accustomed to environments where others are often dismissive. They were raised with phrases like, "Ah, you can't do anything. Other kids are smarter than you. Work properly. Don't be lazy," even when they already work hard. Consequently, their way of speaking to others carries over. They don't know how to communicate in a healthy way, so their default is to always belittle. That's why sometimes it's not because they hate you, but because they simply haven't learned supportive communication. 4. They want to control you. This one can be scary sometimes. Some people belittle you to make you doubt yourself. If you start feeling like, maybe I really can't do it, they can easily control you. For instance, you start a small business, and they say, "Why bother? Can you even make a living from that?" Or you want to start creating content, and they comment, "Acting like an influencer." Their goal is for you to achieve nothing, because if you fail, they feel safe, but if you succeed, they feel defeated. So by making you small, they can remain feeling superior. 5. Sometimes they don't realize they're hurting you. This one is tricky. Some people belittle as a joke or teasing, but you end up feeling mentally affected. The problem is, if every joke always ends up mocking your achievements, picking at your flaws, or belittling your dreams, then that's not joking anymore, bro. That's emotional abuse disguised as humor. So in conclusion, people who like to belittle us are not necessarily better than us. Sometimes they are just people who haven't dealt with their own issues, and the only way for them to make themselves look cool is by bringing others down. But you can be more than that. You can learn not to be affected by their words and stay on your own path. Sometimes people who like to belittle us actually have no power at all until we ourselves give them the stage, and that stage emerges from our reactions. You know, for many people whose hobby is to belittle, their main goal is to provoke a reaction. They want to see you annoyed, angry, upset, or even down, because as soon as you react negatively, they can say, "See? So sensitive." While being sensitive is human, if you're easily provoked, that's dangerous. 1. If you're reactive, you lose. For example, you're in a group conversation and someone interjects, "Yeah, you wouldn't understand this. You've never touched it." If you immediately get angry, argue back, or respond sarcastically, the people listening will focus on the argument, not on who's right. So sometimes, instead of looking dignified, you look childish, and the person who belittled you is smiling smugly in the corner. 2. But just staying silent isn't always the solution. This is tricky. Many people think, "Oh well, just ignore it." And that can indeed be effective sometimes, but it depends on the context. If your silence is interpreted by others as you being wrong, or it makes the bully escalate, then you need to change tactics. So what I mean here isn't being silent like a statue, but rather being calm and thinking quickly. Do I need to respond now or not? If yes, how should I respond so as not to lower my level? 3. Train your mental muscle. Hold on. Process it first, then respond. I'm not saying you have to be a robot without emotions, but you can start practicing something called emotional delay, like buffering for a moment before responding. For example, when someone makes a belittling remark, you can hold it for 2 seconds, take a breath, then respond. "That's an interesting opinion, but I have a different perspective." Or, "Could you explain that in more detail so I can understand why you'd say that?" See, you're not attacking, but you're also not letting them win. And at the same time, you remain elegant. 4. Understand that not everything deserves a response. Seriously, there are comments that are not worth your deep consideration. Like, so pretentious now? Why were you so confident uploading this before?" Comments like these are not constructive at all. You have the right to choose what to respond to and what to throw into your mental trash bin. My own principle is, if it's not feedback from someone I respect, I don't give it space in my head. 5. Importantly, don't form your identity from people's reactions to you. You have to be careful. Sometimes, unknowingly, because we're often belittled, we start thinking, maybe I really don't deserve this. Maybe I'm not as smart as them. Stop. That's not your inner voice. That's the voice of trauma from irrelevant comments. Don't let their perceptions become labels you stick on yourself. You can get feedback, but you still hold control over who you are. 6. A calm response doesn't mean lacking self-respect. This is very important. Many think if we stay silent, we are weak. But actually, those who can restrain themselves are the strong ones. You know who has control over their life? Not the one who can get loudly angry, but the one who can say, "I won't waste energy on unimportant things." And sometimes the best response isn't a counterattack, but real progress. In conclusion, people who like to belittle can be a provocation. But only you can decide whether to dance on their stage or turn on your own spotlight. I want to be honest with you. If you keep seeking validation from others, you'll be exhausted your whole life, seriously. Because no matter how good you are, how smart you are, there will always be someone who thinks you're not enough. And if your mental strength is built on what they say, it's like building a house on sand. Fragile, shaky, easily collapsing. Here are the steps. 1. Stop living to prove yourself to people who don't understand your struggle. You know why many people get easily down when they're underestimated? Because unconsciously, they still want to be acknowledged. There's still a part of them that wants to be told, "Wow, you're amazing now. I was wrong to underestimate you before." But what if that sentence never comes out? Will you give up? Will you stop? No, you can't, bro. Your mental strength must be built on this realization. I'm moving forward not to please them. I'm moving forward because I know I have value and I deserve a better life. 2. Start validating yourself from small things you often overlook. Many people think self-validation has to be big. Viral achievements, salary raises, awards. Yet the strongest validation comes from small consistencies that only you and God know about. For example, you still wake up early even when you're mentally down. You control your emotions when you want to get angry. You do your work even when you're exhausted. These are all real proofs that you have control over your life. You just need to recognize and record them. You can really start journaling every night. Write 3 things: what you did today, what you're proud of, what you want to improve. This is a simple but very powerful way to make your mental strength even more solid. 3. Have personal standards, not social standards. You need to differentiate between societal expectations and personal life goals. For example, others say, at this age, why aren't you married yet? Your job is still just that. But if you know you're working hard, healing, building a foundation for something bigger, then just keep going. They don't walk in your shoes. They don't know your battlefield. So why should they keep score for you? You need to create your own version of success. Ask yourself, what does an ideal life look like to me? What are my core values? What brings me peace, not just what looks cool? If you know the answer, external voices will become much smaller. 4. Learn to acknowledge yourself. Have you ever had a moment where you succeeded at something, but immediately thought, that's nothing special. Who cares anyway? Stop. Don't be so quick to dismiss your own achievements. From now on, learn to say to yourself, I'm proud I finished this. I deserve to feel content today. I deserve recognition, even if it's just from myself. Do you know why that's important? Because others can only respect you if you respect yourself first. 5. Failure doesn't mean you failed completely. It's part of having a strong mind. You also have to be ready to accept the reality that sometimes we will fall, not just be underestimated, but also fail. And that doesn't mean your mental strength is weak. A strong mind isn't one that never wavers, but one that knows how to get up, understands how to learn, and keeps going, even if slowly. Tell yourself every time you fail, this isn't the end, this is just a learning phase. Even when you're attacked by others, you can say in your heart, you're underestimating me now, but you don't know I'm becoming a new, much more dangerous version of myself. 6. You don't need the spotlight, but a strong foundation. Sometimes we think, if I go viral, succeed, become famous, maybe people will shut up. But the spotlight is fleeting. A mental foundation is long-lasting. It's better to be a person not widely known but at peace than to be known by everyone but empty inside. So the point is, don't live for the validation of people who don't understand your value. Okay, now we move to the most crucial part. You already know why people like to belittle you. You know how to manage your reactions, and you've started building strong mental resilience. But there will still be moments when you need to confront that person directly. Talk face to face, set boundaries, show that you're not someone to be trampled on. But remember, confronting directly doesn't mean attacking, getting angry, yelling, let alone engaging in toxic sarcasm. The goal isn't revenge. The goal is to send a clear signal that your dignity cannot be trifled with. 1. Determine your intention first. Confrontation or clarification. Before you talk to someone who often belittles you, ask yourself, do I just want to vent, or do I want to solve the problem? If it's just for venting, don't do it yet. Only emotion, not a solution, will come out. But if you're calm and your intention is genuinely to resolve the situation, then you're ready for an elegant conversation. 2. Use I feel statements, not you always statements. For example, you're always a bad example. You're so annoying, always belittling me. This automatically makes people defensive. They'll put up walls instead of understanding your point. Instead, try changing your wording like this. I felt a bit uncomfortable when you said that yesterday, like I wasn't being considered. See the difference? You're still firm, but not attacking. The focus is on your feelings and the impact, not accusations. Usually people who still have empathy will realize, oh right, I didn't realize I made them feel that way. 3. Set boundaries, subtly but firmly. Sometimes you don't need to be long-winded, just 1 or 2 sentences with a firm tone. For example, bro, I get that you like to joke, but when it touches on my work or personal matters, I'm not comfortable. Could you please not comment on that next time? Because it's important to me? Not rude, but clear. And remember, elegant language doesn't mean being soft. It's a form of strength because you can control yourself without losing your way. 4. If they mock you back, don't play at their level. Now, some people, when you talk to them nicely, will mock you back like, oh my goodness, you're so sensitive, it was just a small thing and you're already feeling cool? Wow, you're so sensitive now, huh? This is a test of your elegance. If you respond with the same tone, you lower your level. But if you can answer like this, I'm speaking nicely not to debate, I just want us to be comfortable with each other. Or, if you think I'm sensitive, that's fine, but I still have the right to protect what's important to me. See, you don't lose, you actually look more mature. 5. Firmness equals courage to create distance if necessary. If you've talked nicely, but they keep belittling you, don't force closeness. Tell yourself, I don't need everyone to understand me, but I have the right to choose who gets close to me. Set boundaries, reduce interaction intensity. Don't always reply to their chats, don't always be available when they look for you. And if you must still meet, for example, because you work together or a family, keep communication polite, but don't give emotional access. Be silent, not out of fear, but because you realize, I don't want to put my energy in the wrong place. 6. Don't expect people to change immediately. This is also important for me to emphasize. You've spoken nicely, set boundaries, been elegant, but don't expect them to completely reform. Some will change, some will become more annoying, and that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is only one: maintain your integrity. If they change, great. If not, well, at least you've shown that your dignity cannot be shaken. So the point is, direct confrontation is a sign of bravery, but confronting with elegance is a sign of maturity. You don't have to be harsh to appear strong. Sometimes it's your calmness that makes people think twice before belittling you again. Let me tell you one thing I've learned from many experiences and from observing truly strong people. Great people don't talk much, they just do, and their results speak for themselves. Why is this important? Because if you respond like, I want to start a business, I want to have this much income, I'm going to succeed, just wait. But after that, there's no progress, just statuses, just motivational quotes and stories, just talk. Meanwhile, truly focused people don't have time for much talk. They're busy doing. If they fail, they evaluate. If they're tired, they rest for a bit, then continue. So from now on, better to talk less and do more. 4. You work quietly, your results will make noise later. I know sometimes you really want to show your process to people, especially those who once underestimated you. Like you want to scream, look, I'm struggling, see me, support me. But the more you seek to be seen, the more it shows you need validation. Try to change your mindset. I'm silent not because I've lost, but because I'm planting seeds whose results you'll see for yourself later. And believe me, results cannot be argued against. People can debate opinions, but they can't debate facts. If you say, I can do it, people might scoff. But if suddenly you've reached the point where you've succeeded, they can only say, huh? How did they get there? 5. Respond to belittling with calm achievements. Remember, proving yourself isn't to defeat them, but to remind yourself that you have value and you can reach anywhere as long as you keep going. So you prove it not for their applause, but so you can say to yourself, see, I'm not as weak as they say. I don't need to prove it to them, but I proved it to myself. I succeeded not for validation, but because I didn't give up. That's more important than anyone's recognition. 6. Don't respond to them with drama. Respond with progress. I know it hurts to be underestimated, but if every time you're attacked your response is always emotional, it means they still have control over your life. Change your mindset. You underestimate me? Fine. I'll add an hour of work today. You laugh at me? Great, I'll learn a new skill this week. You're waiting for me to fail? Sorry, but I'm getting more focused now. So you turn insults into fuel, not drama. So the point is, respond to people who underestimate you not with anger, not with debate, but with consistent progress, quiet work, and undeniable results. Let those who were cynical watch from afar, swallowing their own words. The bottom line is this: you don't have to prove anything to the wrong people, but you have a responsibility to yourself to keep growing, stay strong, and not be easily brought down by petty words. So from now on, don't live to please others. Live to become the best version of yourself. If you feel this video made you think, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your friends who need to be enlightened. Click like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so more people can start living their best versions. See you in the next video.